For nearly 2 decades, college football had one constant. If you wanted to win a national championship, sooner or later you were going to have to deal with Alabama. Under Nick Saban, the Crimson Tide didn't just win football games, they dominated the sport. National championships, SEC titles, top recruiting classes year after year, and a level of consistency that turned Alabama into the standard every other program in college football was chasing. But now the sport looks different. Nick Saban is no longer on the sideline. A new coach is leading the program, and the rest of college football has become deeper and more competitive than ever before. So heading into the 2026 season, the conversation surrounding Alabama isn't just about talent. The real question is this: what does Alabama football look like in the post-Saban era? And can the Crimson Tide still compete at the championship level that defined the program for so long? Hello family, welcome back to the channel. This is B Telly, where we talk college football year round, the programs, the players, and the biggest storylines shaping the sport. And today we're breaking down one of the most fascinating teams heading into the 2026 college football season, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to look at what this season means for head coach Kalen DeBoer, the quarterback situation that could shape Alabama's offense, the roster Alabama is bringing into the season, and the expectations surrounding one of the most successful programs in college football history. Because when Alabama takes the field, the standard is always the same: compete for championships. Before we get into it, if you enjoy college football discussions like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Now let's talk about Alabama football. Whenever a program replaces a coach who built a dynasty, expectations immediately become part of the conversation. But replacing Nick Saban is something completely different, because Saban didn't just win games at Alabama, he built one of the greatest dynasties in the history of college football. Over nearly 2 decades leading the Crimson Tide, Saban turned Alabama into the model program for the entire sport. National championships, SEC dominance, consistently producing first-round NFL draft picks, and year after year, Alabama recruiting classes ranked among the best in the country. That level of sustained success created a culture inside the program where winning championships wasn't just the goal, it became the expectation. And that's the environment Kalen DeBoer stepped into when he became the head coach of Alabama. Now, DeBoer didn't arrive in Tuscaloosa without a strong reputation. Before taking the Alabama job, he built a reputation as one of the most innovative offensive coaches in college football. His teams were known for efficient passing attacks, creative play calling, and offenses capable of scoring points in bunches. But coaching Alabama is different from coaching almost anywhere else in college football, because at Alabama, success isn't measured by winning seasons, it's measured by championships. And that's why every season under the new era of Alabama football carries enormous attention, not just from Alabama fans, but from the entire college football world. One of the biggest storylines surrounding Alabama heading into the 2026 season revolves around the quarterback position. Because in modern college football, quarterback play often determines whether a team can truly compete for championships. And Alabama enters this season with an interesting situation at the position. Several quarterbacks have been part of the conversation surrounding the Alabama quarterback room. Players like Austin Mack and highly regarded freshman Kalen Russell have all been discussed as potential options for the offense. Each player brings something different to the table. Austin Mack has familiarity with Kalen DeBoer's offensive system, and Kalen Russell arrives with enormous expectations as one of the most highly rated quarterback recruits Alabama has signed in recent years. And whenever Alabama has a quarterback competition, the stakes are enormous, because the quarterback position at Alabama carries a unique level of visibility. Quarterbacks at Alabama aren't simply expected to manage the game, they're expected to lead the offense in the biggest moments. SEC matchups, rivalry games, playoff games, and potentially national championship games. So the development of the quarterback position will play a major role in determining how far Alabama can go this season. While the quarterback position receives most of the attention, Alabama still has talented players across the roster. One player expected to play a major role in the offense is wide receiver Ryan Williams. Williams has already demonstrated the ability to create explosive plays with the football in his hands. His speed and playmaking ability allow Alabama to stretch defenses vertically and create opportunities across the field. When Alabama offenses have receivers capable of creating big plays, it forces defenses to adjust their coverage schemes, and that opens up opportunities for the entire offense. For years, Alabama's defensive identity has been built on speed, discipline, and physicality. And even as the roster changes from season to season, those principles remain part of the program's foundation. Players like Saban, Saban Brown represent the type of defensive athletes Alabama continues to develop. Fast defensive backs capable of matching up with elite receivers, aggressive defenders who attack the football, and players capable of creating turnovers that can completely shift the momentum of a game. Of course, one thing that never changes in college football is the challenge of an SEC schedule. Every week brings another talented opponent. Every week brings another roster filled with elite athletes. And for a program like Alabama, every opponent treats that game like the biggest matchup on their schedule, which means the Crimson Tide rarely get an easy Saturday. The SEC remains one of the most competitive conferences in college football. And that means consistency will be one of the most important factors for Alabama this season. The teams that compete for championships are the ones that remain disciplined and focused throughout the entire season. Now, when I look at Alabama heading into this season, I think there's an important reality that college football fans have to accept. Alabama might never be the exact same program we saw during the Nick Saban era. And honestly, that's not a knock on Kalen DeBoer or anyone currently inside that program. What Nick Saban built in Tuscaloosa was one of the most dominant dynasties the sport has ever seen. But college football has changed. The transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, conference realignment, all of those things have made the sport far more balanced than it used to be. And because of that, it's harder for any one program to dominate the way Alabama once did. But that doesn't mean Alabama is going anywhere. This is still one of the proudest programs in college football. The tradition is still there. The recruiting power is still there. And the expectation to compete at the highest level is still there. So while Alabama may not look exactly like the dynasty we saw under Nick Saban, I still believe this is a program that will compete year in and year out, because when you talk about the biggest programs in college football, Alabama will always be part of that conversation. If you enjoyed the content, like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. This is B. Telly.